show an indication that they deserve it. He doesn't just go around giving blessings like lottery. He sees something good in you, and he blesses you for it. More than you deserve, but you deserve something. He waits for you to deserve something. So, there's a story. This is another very, very important story in the backbone of all the mythologies. The story of Bṛhaspati and Indra. Bṛhaspati went to see Indra one day. Indra likes to hang out in his court. And his court is a really fun place. His court always has exotic dancers. Beautiful women, scantily clad, dancing very nicely. And beautiful music, expert music, and nice poetry. So Indra's always hanging out there, and his advisors surround him, so Bṛhaspati comes in. But Bṛhaspati is his foremost advisor. You know, if B.V. Brahman came in the door right now, and I didn't stop speaking, that would be such a huge uproar, such a huge insult. Right? If somebody very important comes in the door, and you don't stop doing what you're doing, it's a huge insult. But that's exactly what Indra did. He just kept on enjoying the dance. He didn't even notice that Bṛhaspati had walked into the court. Bṛhaspati said, this is ridiculous. You can't just let this go on, let this guy get more and more self-absorbed. I'm going to punish him for this. So sometimes Bṛhaspati punishes. If you actually don't deserve a blessing, he will punish you. That's why more benefic, please believe me, because it's not coming from me, it's coming from Mantreshwar, who wrote Paladipika. Jupiter is not the most benefic planet. Venus is more benefic. She'll give you stuff, even when you don't even deserve it. But Jupiter, if you don't deserve it, he might even pinch you. So he pinched Indra this time. He said, all right, and he just turned around, and he walked out the door. Door closes behind him, that's when Indra noticed something is wrong. People went up, hey, that man, Bṛhaspati just walked out. Get up. So Indra goes out running after him, excuse me, Guruji, you're going to die at home. So excuse me, excuse me. And Bṛhaspati can't be seen anywhere. He disappeared into thin air. And Indra's like, oh my God, I have no Bṛhaspati. That means I have no priest. He's my advisor. He tells me what ceremonies I need to do to get the things I want. Right? That's also important for Indragni and Vishaka. Indragni and Vishaka, it's very important to understand. Indragni is the Vedic sacrificial fire. That's what you do to get the thing that you want. So Vishaka is focused on the thing that it wants. Don't think it's into doing sacrifices. It's very goal-oriented, and the way you get the goal in a Vedic culture is through this fire. So Indra knows when Bṛhaspati's gone, I can't light this fire, I can't do this stuff. I don't know how to do these ceremonies. He knows how to do it, and then I get my results, I get my power. He's gone, we're in trouble. And sure enough, day by day, Indra starts getting skinnier and skinnier. Weaker and weaker. And the news goes down through CNN, MSNBC, Matt Lauer, and it gets down there to, who was there? It wasn't Bali. It was whoever was the ruling Asura at the time. Now here's, hey man, Bṛhaspati's gone. These guys are weak. Let's attack now. Now, do you understand why the Asuras always want to attack paradise? Do you get it? Or do you still believe the story that they're bad, evil guys? They were kicked out. That's their home. They belong there. That's just as much as the gods belong in paradise, they belong in paradise. They were kicked out unfairly by a politician. They are fighting to get back their homeland. So they think, great, now we can go and get our homeland back. They come marching back up to paradise, and the gods just have to flee. They can't even put up a fight. They flee. And they flee to Vishnu. That's their good point. That they know that they need help. That's the weak point. The true weak point of the Asura is that they think that they can do everything on their own strength. And the true good point of the Deva, or the Sura, is that they know I need help from the bigger guys. So they go to Vishnu and say, help, we lost Bṛhaspati. What should we do? The bad guys took over. Vishnu says, you just need another Bṛhaspati. Done. And so, but Indra says, but where are we going to find another Bṛhaspati? And Vishnu says, oh, there's one. There's one, but he lives amongst the Asuras. He's an Asura. He's the son of Mayadanava. He's the son of Pushya. Vishwarupa, 3 heads, can perform any Vedic sacrifice. Even the sacrifices that involve meat, which make his one mouth impure and unfit to chant the mantras, he can just use a different mouth for the vegetarian yogis. And the ones that drink alcohol from the third mouth. So he can do every single sacrifice. He's not disqualified. He's just as good as, but he's an asura. He's never going to support me. I made a mistake. A small mistake. They went first to Brahma. Not Vishnu. So Brahma said, you just need another Bṛhaspati. I know where one is. He's with the asuras. And then the Indra says, no, he's an asura. He's not going to help me. Brahma says, just tell them I sent you. Because I'm their grandpa. So they'll obey if you tell them if you tell him that your grandfather requests this of you, he'll do it. So Indra disguises himself, goes down into the subterranean heavens, finds this 3-headed priest, and says, I need you to come to heaven to be my priest. He says, who are you? He says, I'm Indra. He says, get out of here. He says, no, but your grandfather Brahma has sent me to request this of you. And Vishwarupa says, okay, I have to do it. I have my duties. Grandpa says. That's kind of a strong family. That's a strong family unit, right? Grandpa said, I must do it. So Vishwarupa goes up with Indra to heaven, starts performing the yajnas again, starts performing the sacrifices again. Indra gets strong again, gets Amrita back. They knock the gods back down. They knock the asuras back down to their hole. And then everything's back to normal, and Indra thinks, I don't know if I can trust this guy. He's an asura. Let me check and see what he's really doing. He's spying on him from the corner. He says, look what he's doing. He's taking a little bit of the sacrificial power, and he's sending it through some kind of FedEx to his asuras. That is a traitor. So he bursts in on Vishwarupa. You're a traitor. You're a damn dirty traitor. Cuts off his 3 heads. What kind of guy is Indra? This guy came up to help you, and he let you destroy his own kin. And he's just giving a little bit of power to his own kin, you call him a traitor. And he cut off his heads. So Indra is very, very, very paranoid. He won't let any competition. He gets very paranoid at any slight competition. So he killed this poor boy with 3 heads. When his father, Mayadanava, finds out, he is furious. My son is nothing but good. Nothing but good. Did nothing but good for you, and you killed him brutally. I will kill you right now. I will call Vritra back from the dead. Om Swaha! Big fire. Vritra comes out. You know your enemy. Kill him. Kill Indra. You are the enemy of Indra. But he pronounced the darn word wrong. This is how important it is to do sacrifices exactly correct. He didn't say in Sanskrit, you are the enemy of Indra. The way he pronounced it was, Indra's your enemy. And so, that means that Indra would kill this guy. Indra would kill Vritra again. So Vritra came back up to heaven, breaks Indra's jaw, kicks Indra out. Then Indra goes to Vishnu. Vishnu says, you need that sage. Remember that sage's head you cut off? Aditi? So see what's happening to Indra? He's getting experiences again and again, trying to humble him. So that's probably going to happen with a lot of Jyesha Nahkshatra experiences too. You're going to get experiences again and again where you get the opportunity to stop being such a politician. So take one of them so you don't have to get the rest of them. Take the first opportunity that you get to get forgiveness from the people that you've wronged. So, did you remember that sage Aditi you cut off his head? He's got bones that are so hard. Harder than your thunderbolt. You can upgrade your thunderbolt. Power up, level up. So go to him. Yeah, but he's Aditi. I cut off his head. But just tell him that Vishnu told you to go. Because he's my bhakta, so he'll do it. So Indra goes, I'm sorry, remember me, I cut off your head, but can I have your bones? And Aditi says, what? And he says, but Vishnu said he would give them to me, so can you do it for Vishnu? And Aditi says, okay. And the yogi can change the Soma Agni into a regular Agni. He just cremated himself, and his bones were left. So Indra took his bones and said, okay, Vishnu, I got his bones now, what am I supposed to do? Vishnu said, go to Tvashta, go to Vishwakarma. He knows how to turn these bones into weapons. So he goes to Vishwakarma. He says, here, make these weapons. Vishwakarma makes all these fabulous weapons. And out of the spine, he makes a new thunderbolt for Indra. And then Indra fixes his jaw, probably Ashwini's did it for him. Fixes his jaw, goes back and cuts off Bṛhaspati's head a second. That's the long story of this was Vishvarupa. I'm forgetting to show you all these great pictures. This is Vritra, the second incarnation of Vritra. See, it's kind of like my demonstration, right? And then that's Aditi, and then there's Tvashta. Now let's talk about, and then there he goes. See, he's got this weapon, and he cuts off Vritra's head a second time. Now we got Tvashta. Just quickly we talk about Tvashta. Tvashta is Chitra. Chitra means mesmerizing. Mesmerizing, fascinating. Anything that is just so fascinating, that implies that it'll have a lot of details, multi-cut, like a diamond, like a jewel, reflecting many colors. Tvashta is so detail-oriented. He knows the inner details of all the things. He doesn't just see a wall, he sees the beams in the wall. He doesn't just see a speaker, he sees the wiring inside the speaker. He knows all the details. What sounds to us just like a melody, he hears all the intervals. He knows all the movements and he hears them all. So he knows how to create anything, and he knows how to deconstruct and construct anything. So, in all the tales that you've ever heard, all the flying carpets, magic cities, incredible, amazing, extending noses, and all those things that you've ever heard, he built. All the fantastic stuff of the gods was built by this god, Chitra's god, Tvashta, or Vishwakarma. So that's the nature of Chitra also. Very, very, very amazing acts of creation. Very creative, knows details, and also gets details right. So it's also very beautiful and mesmerizing. Now, he's also impartial. That's an important trait of Chitra too. They're going to find themselves in the middle of two sides, or going between two sides. Because he's the guy who split himself into two. One as Maya to go with the exiles into the Bṛhaspati, and one as Vishwakarma to stay. So he's non-partisan. He'll create anything for anybody. So you'll notice scientists also get themselves into this bind. Also, they get so into details they forget who they're creating. They'll create weapons. But because they're so interested in their science, they'll create things for anybody. I think this story that I just told you really illustrates how impartial he is. If you think about this, it's really poignant. Indra killed his son. And then he made the weapon that Indra used to kill the monster that was going to get revenge for Indra killing his son. So Chitra has a very impartial deity. he's more interested in creation actually than the use of the creation. Okay, so I'm going to go to, this is almost the end of part 2. I just want to tell you this one last thing. You might be thinking, you're probably thinking that I just don't like Indra. But that's not true. I like Indra, I appreciate his role. And so you might be thinking, why? Why do the Vedas have such a lousy king of the gods? What? And not just Vedas, why is Zeus so weird? Zeus goes out and impregnates people that don't want to be impregnated. And why, all the different pantheons have some weird leader. Why? Is it a mistake? Is this some weird storytelling? No, it's quite on purpose. The Vedas are sending us a very clear warning. Beware of leaders. Beware of politicians. This is their nature. Don't be fooled. Don't be naive. Don't think that the leader has your best interest in mind. The leader has his or her best interest in mind. That's why they're the leader. Look, if you really want to find real goodness, look in real ordinary people. Don't look for it in a big official person who's stamped as the good ones. Maybe that person is also good, but you'll really find gems, the real gems, amongst regular, ordinary people who actually really have the talents and really have the good purity in their heart. And the Vedas is trying to tell you that by showing you the nature of a leader, depicting it as Indra. Don't just trust politicians and leaders. Okay? You want to go to part 3?
Yes.
Do you have a question?
No.
Okay. All right, part 3. This is supposed to be 60 minutes in, but I think we're about 2 hours in. All right, but part 3, matriarchy of Aditi. Aditi is the goddess of space. This is now a whole different chapter, okay? We're finally going to stop harping on Indra. Now let's get into Aditi. You said it originally, Aditi, right? She's a very, very, very important Vedic figure. The goddess Aditi, she's the goddess of space, like Varuna. And the mother of the sky gods. Why are there two beings who are the god of space? Varuna's not, space plays different functions. Varuna is the encompasser. Aditi is the one who everything is made from. If you ever get a chance to study Sankhya, the Vedic concept of science, like empiric science, all of the atoms are evolutes from space. Everything evolves out of space. Space is the first and indivisible atom. So she's super, and she's the mother of the sky gods. Her name, Aditi, means indivisible. Diti means to divide. Aditi means can't be divided. Undivided, indivisible. That's what space is. It's the fundamental element. You don't get anything more subtle than it, except if you go beyond the physical realm, to the mental realm. So space is indivisible. Anything lower than space, like mind or intellect or ego, is also indivisible. But anything higher or more evolved than space is divisible. You can divide air into different particles. You can divide, and then you have to go into Nyaya to explain this whole thing, so let's not. But she's the indivisible thing. She's the origin point of all the evolutes. Everything originates out of her. That's what this word means, Punarvasu. Vasu means to exist, something that really exists as a tangible thing. That's why the word is used for wealth. It's something that it's real, something that exists in a real, tangible way. It's called a vasu. Punarvasu, it comes out from that point and it goes back to that point. It's the thing which is real that every other real thing comes out of and then goes back into. That's Punarvasu, that's Aditi, that's Ka, space. That's her. She's the goddess who is the origin point of everything, and everything goes back into her. And it's going to come out again. And go back into her. Come out again. If you look carefully, you see this is Brahma, right? Brahma's praying to her. She's a lot bigger than him. Because Brahma's the creator. He's got to create. He's got to use some material to create. That's her. In a sense, she's Brahma's wife because he's creating through her. She's giving him the material to create with. She exists before Brahma. He has to use her to create. Then he's going to create her. Huh? She exists. She's bigger than him. She's the fabric of stuff that you use to create. He's going to use that fabric to create stuff, including her. That's, again, Punarvasu. Circular logic. You get back to the same spot. You go out, you come back. And that's not just her, though. All of the gods are originally Shaktis or powers of Paramatma. And then through Brahma, they attain a physical, tangible, embodied form. And so all of them actually go through this motion of first existing in an intangible way, then coming to exist in a tangible way. All right? So Punarvasu Nakshatra has that sense of cycling. This too. That's a lot of Punarvasu. Break it, fix it. Break it, fix it. Get rid of the old one, get a new one. Get rid of that one, get a new one. Get rid of that one, get a new one. Go here, come back. Go here, come back. It's also chala. It moves. But its movement is like that. Satabisha, Swati, Shravana, sound waves, and Punarvasu, those are all the chalas. This is the nature of this world. Okay? That's the cycle of the world. In Gita, Krishna says, Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Vidyana Yubhavati. Both of the Prakriti and the Purusha, both the matter and the spirit, they're both anadi, eternal. This table is also eternal. And my conscious being is also eternal. Prakriti and Purusha are both eternal. But Vikarams Gunam Shaiva Prakritim Vidisambhavan. The only difference is this table is constantly fluxing in and out of existence. But I'm just constantly stable in my existence. That's the difference between matter and the observer of matter. So she represents the fluxing eternality, the fluctuating eternality, the tables that are being created and destroyed, the bodies that are being created and destroyed. She has tons and tons of children. Her primary children are named after her. It's also why I call it a matriarchy. The matriarchy of Aditi. Usually you take your dad's name. My name is Dikara. My dad's name is Dikara. My mom's name is Totori. She changed it to Dikara. That's how the patriarchal naming system works that way. But these guys, Ādityas, they took their mom's name, not their dad's name. I'm not quite even sure. I think it's Kashyapa. With their dad. They're not called the Kashyapas. They're called the Ādityas. That's also interesting. Very old Vedic culture having a matrilineal aspect to it. Not only did they take their mom's name, they take their mom's job. Like usually the son takes the father's job. These sons took their mom's job. She's the goddess of space. These Ādityas become the gods of the sky. Right? She gives them just like the dad gives a job to the son, this mom gave her job to her sons. Not to her daughters, to her sons. It's matriarchal. What's her job? She's the sky. What's their job going to be? They're going to be in charge of the sky. The Ādityas are in charge of the sky. How many are there? Aditya, Tokiji, how many are there? 12. Anybody think he's wrong? Ichi?
Is this a trick question?
It's a trick question. Say yes, he's wrong.
He's wrong.
How many are there then?
It depends on what source you're looking at.
Depends on what source.
That's what's sad about it. It's true. There are different numbers listed, and there's different Ādityas.
That's also true.
Yeah.
There's different lists and different numbers, but there's only two. There's only two variations. And actually, I think if you study the names carefully, they're synonyms.
They are the same, probably the same meanings.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and some sound Greek.
Some sound
Some
Greek.
of the later ones sound Greek, for sure. Yeah.
Don't open up a can of worms here. Okay.
Sorry.
All right. So 12. The other one is 8. There's either, some sources say there's 12 Ādityas. Other sources say there's 8. Guess which ones say there's 12? Puranas, older, newer, later Vedas say there's 12. Earlier ones, Vedas, the actual Samhitas, the actual Vedas, say 8. Why? Well, they're the gods of the sky. You decide how you want to divide up the sky. Depends on what basis you're dividing the sky up on. So in the earlier times, they were dividing the sky into 8 portions. Those are called prahara. We don't have hours. Hours is a Greek idea. Hora and hours is a Greek idea. Hora is not even a Sanskrit word. When we say Hora Shastra, and we call Jataka Hora, but it's not even a Sanskrit word. You have to mess with grammar. Ahoratra doesn't mean, Ahoratra means, I forgot what it actually means, but take my word for it. Anyway, that was a tangent. Depends on how you divided the day. So they had 8 praharas, not 24 hours. They had a smaller unit than an hour also called a. You know this one. You know it. Everybody knows it. Starts with an M. Yes. Muhurt. Might be 42 minutes. And then they had a prahara, which is about 3 hours. So 8 praharas. If you're into any kind of vipassana yoga or meditation, like hardcore, you'll know about Ashtakalya Smarna, where you're going to meditate on the Deva's activities in 8 portions of the day. And they have different activities in the 8 portions. So, in the old sources, they were thinking about the day, the sky having 8 portions. In the later sections, they start to think about 12. Because that becomes more in use during the times in the later Vedas were being narrated. And that is because of the year. The year has 12 sections because there's 12 lunations. Is that the right word, lunation? There's 12 lunar cycles in a year, give or take, right? So we could divide the sky into 12 and have 12 Ādityas, but then we're talking about a year, the sky of the year. So we can divide the sky into 8 and have 8 Ādityas, then we're talking about the sky of a day. So the sky of the day is based on these 4 key points. East, west, noon, and midnight. Just like the sky of the year is based on east, west, noon, and midnight. The sky of the year is based on the low solstice, the high solstice, and the 2 equinoxes. The sky of the day is based on the same idea. You got the east where the sun rises, the west where it sets, when it's at its high noon, and when it's at its nether, when it's at midnight. Then if you want to divide it into 8, just cut each one in half. There's your 8 portions. Those are the 8 praharas. So you get sunrise, and then when the sun gets past here, you're in the 2nd prahara, then you get noon, 3rd prahara, 4th prahara of the day. 1st prahara of the night, 2nd prahara of the night, 3rd, 4th of the night. Now, each prahara has a deva who's in charge of the sun when it's there. So the first one is Savita, the deity of Hasta. Anybody know a mantra for Savita? Let's hear it. Tat Savitu Varenyam. Let's all do it together. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Bhurbuva Swaha Tat Savitu Varenyam Bhargadevasya Dhimahi Dhyo Yona Prachodayat. Right? Savita. What's that mantra all about? Waking up. Wake up. You're asleep. Jeev Jago. Jeev Jago. Wake up, you sleeping soul.